So my dad was like, bring your little ass right here, right now. Like, he just kind of grabbed me by my chin, pulled me in, and just... Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. In this video, I will be doing about my first kiss. So, nothing really interesting be happening in my life, but other than that, we're gonna get into the video. I'm not gonna hold y'all up. So, this was back in 2021. You know, we just got out of quarantine, like, we're back at school. Back in 10th grade and 11th grade, pretty much, I always kept my mask on. Like, my mask was always on all the time. Like, that's it. Because I didn't want to show my face out or anything like that. It was this one day, probably like a week into school. I'm about to walk into my 4th period class. I had Spanish 1. Now, there was this boy. He was in 11th grade. We won't call him light-skinned because that's exactly what I called him. He was light-skinned. So he always wore a mask too. I didn't know what he looked like until like 2 weeks into talking or kind of talking. He just came up to me and he dabbed me up. So I'm like, okay, I'm dabbing him up too because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know him, but I was like, okay, like whatever. That became an everyday norm. Woke up being weird. It was one particular day. It was around my birthday, so I know it was probably about March or so. Me and my friend stayed after school because we had a show, so we stayed after for rehearsals, which was the Wish show. That's when him and his friend, light skin, and his friend came out walking. We're gonna call his friend brown skin. Like, his friend wasn't brown skin, he was probably like light skinish, but a little more tan, darker, if that makes sense. So we're gonna call him brown skin. Cause what? Light skin and brown skin was walking out while me and my friend, who was in 9th grade at the time, now she's in 11th grade, walking out. You know, we just got out of rehearsals and we see him. He just comes up to me. He's like, hey, what's up? Now, this is the first actual conversation we had. We never talked in it. It was just like, hey, what's up? Dabs me up. So I was like, oh, okay. So while we're there, we all just playing around. We talking, yada, yada, yada. And I decided to go home. Me and my friend usually go the same way. I don't know why we didn't this time. Hours later, I'm probably in my room watching TV. And I open my phone. I see a random Instagram DM. I'm like, who is this? I opened the message up and it said, hey, what's up? Or something like that. I don't remember what it said. I'm like, who was this? He was like, oh, it's the bull from earlier. And I'm like, the bull from earlier? Like, who? Oh, the light-skinned one with the mask. And I was like, oh, okay, how you doing? What's up? Yada, yada, yada. We got to texting. We was texting. I'm like, how did you get my Instagram? He was like, oh, after you left, I asked your friends for it, and she gave it to me. I was like, oh, okay. Then after that, we decided to go to sleep. We got to text every day. And this is when we actually started hanging out. We started talking a little more. Fast forward, after texting this one day, probably a few days into this, it was a Monday, and I specifically remember this day because my dad was home. So after school, he was like, yo, like, let me walk you home. I'm like, okay. We get on the first bus because it's a pretty far walk if I don't take any buses. So, but the second bus is only like a 5-minute bus ride, so it's about at least 12 minutes to get to my house. We're walking down, and as we're turning my block, right, my dad decided to be outside this particular day. Usually when he off work, he either working in a car, so he's under a car working on it, or he's in the house watching TV. But this particular day, he decided to be across the street as we're turning the block. Now, my block is very big. Like, this is my whole block, right? This is where my house is. Like, somewhere in the middle of the block. And this is us turning the corner. My dad just looked over. He whipped his head over. I don't even know why he looked over at this one time. But this is the first time I was ever really with a guy. But like I said, we wasn't talking then. So this is the first time my dad really saw me with a guy, talking to a guy. So my dad was like, bring your little asses right here, right now, yada, yada. I'm like, damn. Calm down. So I was like, damn, I'm in trouble. Because I'm like I said, this is my first ever situationship. So after that, so we went up there. Mind you, we both have our mask off. He told me to take off he's like, take off your fucking mask. Yeah, so I took off my mask. I was like, hey, dad. He was like, don't hey, dad, me. Who is this? Yeah. Oh, mind you, light skin got tattoos. I'm not talking about them little tattoos that be like right here or that one little tattoo. I'm talking about tattoos type shit. It's like, okay. My dad was like, who is this? How old are you? He was like, oh. At the time, how old was he? He was like 16. He was like, oh, I'm 16. He's like, you not 16. You look old, yada, yada, yada. He also had a mustache. It wasn't like a thick mustache. he only had like a just like, so I like I did not know what he looked like. This is the day where I found out what he looked like. This is the day he found out what I looked like. After that, my dad was like, take off your mask, little yada yada. I was like, you is so embarrassing, because I was like, I can't do this. I'm like, he was like, he took off his mask. I was like, God, done. Not what I expected, because in his Instagram photo it was different, and then when he took off, I was like, okay, he looked way different than what I saw on Instagram. Way different. Like, I didn't really expect it at all. So my dad cursing him. Well, he wasn't really cursing him out. He was like, who is you? In front of our neighbors. Like, my neighbors was right there fucking laughing. I'm like, what is y'all laughing at? Like, it is so embarrassing. Like, I'm 15. Okay, I was 15 at the time. So after that, I was like, my dad, he was like, go home. I better not see my daughter, yada yada yada. And so he started working on. Oh, my dad was like, you're watching boxer, you're doing this, you're doing that. Like, I better not see you with no other guy ever again. And I was like, oh my God. That night, we was on call. I'm like, I am so sorry about my dad. Yada, yada, yada. That night, right? I was like, he even made me watch my dog. He was like, no, it was cool. I just couldn't take your dad serious. I'm like, nobody can take my dad serious, okay? My dad would try so hard to be intimidating. My dad looks like a child. Okay, my dad is 40 something. I don't know how old my dad is, but I know he's in his 40s. He looks like a child, especially when he shaved. He looks like a child. He has a little baby face, okay? Nobody takes him serious. So he's sitting there, he's like, yeah, I was just trying not to laugh at your dad because I knew it was like gonna be a bad thing. I was like, yeah, like, so I don't know what was the night where I told him I low-key had a crush on him. I said it kind of like pretty much like that, but I don't remember. So fast forward, I remember we was on the phone, we talking, and we're laughing to each other. We probably just got done playing some Roblox. I was like, in my head, I'm like, I low-key like this nigga. Okay. So I was like, yo, light skin. He was like, what's up? I was like, yo, I got something to tell you. But I was looking being scary. Like, he was like, what is it? I'm like, I think you're going to judge me. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like you're going to start hating me about it. He was like, or just say it. And he knew exactly what I was about to say. So I was like, okay. After a while, I'm like, oh, I'm low-key scared. Like, but I was like, I low-key like you. He was like, haha, I like you too. So the next day we hanging out. We was hanging out with him and brown. I was hanging out with light skin and brown skin, and we was all skateboarding, playing basketball, doing all that. And that's when brown skin decided to go home. He didn't want to be out no more. So me and light skin decided to just hang out. So as we're walking, he got me something from the store. He was being nice. He got me something from the store. And as we're walking down to one of the parks just to, you know, hang out and chill, he was talking to me. We were just having a conversation. I'm being myself. He's low-key getting annoyed at me being myself. Not in a bad way, because I do get annoying because I do play a lot. So he's like, no, like, I thought you was cute before. Like, that's why I was just dabbing you up every time I saw you. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I didn't really think of you like that till like after that. So I was like, you ain't even know what I look like. He was just like, oh, it was just like, even with the mask on, you was just. So I was like, she low-key pretty. Like, so I tried to like talk to you. So after a few talking, we made it to the park. We sitting on the bench, and we're just talking. My phone on like 3% because I don't charge my phone for nothing. Like, my phone actually about to die. Hold up. I'm about to die. It's on 6%. I got enough time. We're just sitting here talking. I'm low-key teasing him a little bit. I didn't really want to kiss nobody because I was too scared. Like, I did not know how to kiss. Just like everybody, nobody knows how to kiss on their first kiss. You're not going to like immediately know how to kiss. So I'm over here teasing. I'm thinking like I was just playing around. I'm like pushing around like, yeah, you won't, like, you too scary, yada yada yada. Meanwhile, I was being scared myself. So as I'm pushing around, I'm like, yo, you scary, like, you're not gonna do nothing, you're not on nothing. Like, I was playing around, okay, because didn't want to kiss nobody. Like, he just kind of grabbed me by my chin, pulled me in, and just kissed me. I was like, oh, okay. And I'm just trying to figure out, like, how the fuck do you kiss? I'm trying to mimic him. Like, okay, he's doing this. Do I do this? Or do I, like, just, like, what should I do? Like, his breath after drinking juice wasn't the best. Like, light skin, if you're watching this, because he know I'm talking about him. So it was kind of like, not to say nothing, and let your breath stink. But after drinking that very sweet juice, it wasn't the best. I don't know. Mine probably wasn't the best either because I did grab some of his juice. It was like probably around 6, 7 o'clock. And he was like, all right, we should like start heading home. I was like, okay, yeah, you go your separate way. You don't gotta walk me home. He was like, it was nice hanging out with you. You okay? I'm like, yeah, it's a new experience. He was like, this was your first kiss? I was like, uh-huh. And I look, he felt like he was judging me because, like I said, I was such an innocent kid. Like, I did not get into nothing like that. Like, I was not interested in nothing like that. That's how it went down. We did hang out every now and then. The next day, I was sitting on his lap. But that's because he made me sit on his lap. He said he didn't think I was going to do it, but I sat on his lap anyway. Yeah, we didn't get into talking. We stopped talking probably like a few weeks later. Or drop some Q&A so I can do a get to know me, because I need to get some conversations in with you guys. Other than that, I'll probably do a story time how we stopped talking in the next different video. I hope you guys like this video. Please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you guys are new. And comment down below what video you guys would love to see. Thank you guys for watching. Alright, bye. Another woman that could take your spotlight.